I'm sorry to all of my viewers, my loyal 5 of you, I think. I think it's more than that, but I am sorry. In my last video, I did say that night there was going to be an upload of a tool review of an actual tool, and I did not get that uploaded. In fact, I was going to record it, and let's just say I've got 5 stitches in my finger, and I've been poked and prodded and everything else, so it got put off, and I'm good. Not that people really care about that. You came here for the meat of the video. So I'm gonna give you my opinion of the Milwaukee grinder, and then I will try to upload some video editing in with the pictures of the Milwaukee grinder, and maybe 1 or 2 of them advertised for an actual price, because Milwaukee is expensive, and depending on where you get it, it's got a different price, but it's kind of up there. Let me first say this was not caused by a Milwaukee grinder, and second of all, this was not caused by me being childish with a grinder. But safety should always come first. So if your grinder does not have a shield on it, put a shield on it. Make sure the nut is tight on the wheel, because after you have a failure with one tool at work, you start to wonder what other tools might fail you. And a grinder spins awfully fast, and those tools could break, and they could really hurt you. So in retrospect, when I tell y'all to be careful out there, I need to tell myself to be careful out there too, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I care about the people who watch this stuff. Now, the Milwaukee grinder is a safe tool when used properly with an appropriate disc. The one that I use is the lowest end model. I think I paid about $150 for it. Crap. I got interrupted by a phone call. So I think I paid about $150 for my Milwaukee grinder. And I originally had the Milwaukee corded grinder. I have that at the house, but I have stopped using it altogether due to the Milwaukee grinder, the battery pack one. I should probably do an upload on that one as well, but we'll see. Hopefully everything continues to go great for me. The battery-powered Milwaukee grinder kit comes with one grinder, tool only. That tool includes a guard and a handle. So you kind of get 3 things, but safety is a must. So having the handle is expected so that you can appropriately grip it, and having the shield on there is probably an OSHA required manufacturing process. But you get those things. You get the battery. I'm sorry. You do not get the battery. You get just the tool, just the handle, just the guard, a box, and a pretty piece of paper that shows you all the wonderful Milwaukee tools and the manual. Well, that manual, it's a nice manual, but everyone knows how to work a grinder. You put the battery in, you find the switch, it's got a little safety lever, you activate the safety release lever piece so that you can pull the main trigger, and it will actuate the wheel, assuming you've got power and everything's functioning. You will either be able to cut, grind, or buffer, you know. So it will work a cutting wheel, it will work a tiger paw, as people call them. I call them buffing wheels, or a sanding wheel. And then it will also work with a regular grinding wheel that you grind surfaces with. You know, some of us will cut with a grinding wheel, and we'll grind with a cutting wheel. It doesn't matter, because we're ridiculous young folk that don't care about anything. My experience with it is that I bought one while still working at a company called UniFirst, and I am not allowed to speak about UniFirst under the contract of my non-employment anymore contracts that were signed upon my beginning of employment. I think I have about 7 years on that. Anywho, I purchased my grinder, and I took it to work there, and I was told, we don't really need that kind of thing there. I took it home, and I only used it here and there for different things. I sharpened some swords with it, just, because young and dumb. I, buffed off paint off of a trailer so that it could be painted again using tiger paws. And I took grinding wheels, and I used to put little spots, clean bare metal for setting ground wires on nuts and mess. I think it worked great for that. I ultimately noticed that the smaller batteries, and I'm hearing this with every battery-powered drill, every battery-powered grinder, comes with the cost that the smaller batteries just don't last long. And what are you gonna do? It's the Milwaukee series batteries are designed to give you high output and or long life, depending on what the tool is and what it needs. So a grinder needs a lot of juice all at once. It's like a car battery requirement. Whereas running the regular drill, the smallest, cheapest end M12 drill, requires very little, especially on the number 1 setting, with a very low torque setting on the chuck for like a drywall screw or something. The power requirement is way different, so the battery lasts shorter. But the bigger batteries, like this high demand 9.0, you can get some turn time out of there. If you're spending your entire day in a fabrication shop using a grinder, you're probably going to run a corded grinder. But if you didn't, and you had, 3 or 4 of these should get you through the entire day with plenty to spare. And you could, not have to be skimpy about your situation. I have dropped my Milwaukee grinder off the back of my trailer when moving and had to go back for it. It had been ran over by 3 different vehicles, and it had flung itself into the ditch into muddy water, and is still perfectly fine. I did opt to buy a brand new one not 3 weeks ago. Not my money, company money, because the company decided they were buying us tools now, and I could take mine home and not worry about it being stolen or lost or misplaced and things. So that's a thing. Now there's 2, and I'm assuming since the company bought it for me, I'm assuming it's mine. So I'm assuming if I ever do leave, I'm taking that with me. But if not, oh well, no harm, no foul, because I have the old one, and then again I have a corded one. I do not think it is a very good grinder in terms of you have 50 feet that you want to grind, and you're just going to solid run the full 50 feet, and you're trying to put in like some really, really hard grinding into it all the way down or something, and really do a lot of work every single inch, and you're just going to take a good 2 or 3 hours to get it done and run it non-stop. But I think I feel this way about all of the battery powered tools, because batteries get hot, drills get hot, the batteries have electronics in them that say, hey, no, and you don't want to hit that, because once you hit that, then you have the problem with, have I damaged the battery? Have I damaged the life of the battery? Have I damaged the computer in the battery? But I can honestly say I've only managed to burn up 1 battery out of 12 that I own since I started being a Milwaukee fanboy way back in 2005. So let's see, I can't really remember how I busted the battery. I know I was running it on a drill, and I believe it was masonry work, because the plumbers we have to do all of it. We were setting some stuff with a company called Keen Plumbing for a place called UNC in Raleigh, North Carolina. And back when they were setting up a indoor practice facility, we had to run trenches to catch water on a thing. I'm not going to get any more specific than that. It doesn't matter. And I had to drill through about 15 inches of concrete, rock-filled concrete, with my regular, normal, undersized, standard economy version of the Milwaukee drill. And I had already dropped it in concrete once or twice before that day. And running it, I ran that battery from full charge all the way down to empty. And then it got set out in the hot sun, 110 degrees for several hours. And then when it finally did rain, it soaked that battery overnight. And some dude thought to put it on the charger for me the very next morning. And I'm not sure what part of that messed up the battery, including the putting it on the charger while it's still soaking wet and probably full of water. But it stopped working, and that's the only battery I've broke. So I can't actually say that it's going to harm the batteries, but I would be careful because those batteries are expensive, as is the whole line. You don't really have a tougher battery. They're all the same battery. So that's where I stand on it, is that I would use these as 10-minute jobs, 40-minute jobs, an hour and a half jobs, half a day jobs, but I would let it rest. I'd let it breathe. I would have two and switch every hour or so, just for the sake of getting your money out of it without destroying it. Just like people don't know this, but a motorcycle is meant for long highway drives. A dirt bike is not. A dirt bike and a four-wheeler, they expect you to go on a 45-minute, 1-hour drive, and then you're going to park it and spray off all the fins. And if it has a radiator or a coolant system, you spray all that off, you check the fluids, you let it cool down. That's how those are supposed to run. You're not supposed to get out there on a four-wheeler and spend all day on a four-wheeler. You're not supposed to do that with a dirt bike. If you spend 6 straight hours on a dirt bike running it hard, cool, hard, cool, hard, cool, just as hard as you can without cutting it off, you're really wearing it. You're wearing on it, buddy. So I would consider battery-powered tools at the moment still similar to that, but that's just me. And I mean, if you don't give a freak about your tools, go for it. But I'm the poor man. I'm the average man. I don't get paid to do a lot of thinking. I just get paid for what my tool supply can physically do, and I have to have the tools for that. So instead of taking the risk, I'm playing it safe. Next should be a couple slideshows of different models of the grinders and different values of the grinders. If I had to say between the corded drill and the corded grinder and the battery-powered grinder, which one I love the most, it's the battery-powered one. Because, you can pick it up, throw it in your truck, and get going. If somebody's in a weird situation, maybe his crazy ex-girlfriend just wrapped chains all around one of his tires thinking that they're not going to go anywhere, and they call you and you go, you know what, I got you, buddy. Or if you got someone locked up your stuff inside of I don't know, maybe you have an ammo locker at your local gun store or something, and for the gun range in the back, you've mistakenly locked your key inside the thing, and you tell the people in the front, they're like, I don't know how to help you, but it's your lock, break it if you can. Well, you've got you don't have to worry about running a drop cord through someone else's business. You don't have to worry about running a drop cord through someone's house to try to get a tire freed up or whatever you're doing with a grinder. It can be done easier, faster, and you can literally just up and go. You've got it in your hand and you're gone. Whereas the drop cords, there's the winding up the cords, are the cords safe, are they cracking, is there anything wrong with them, have they been cut, is there a power supply anywhere, is the power supply even on, does it have a weak breaker, can it supply what this grinder needs, you know? So there's that. And then upcoming is the slideshow for the grinders. Take a good look if you're interested. If you're not, you've probably already cut it out by now. But before this ends, I want you to say to be safe out there. Safety first. Always be careful with hand tools of any kind. And also, you know, just feel free to comment, like, share, whatever y'all want to do. Remember, I'm never going to advertise on this account. This is just my honest opinion of tools. And to wrap that up, my opinion of the Milwaukee grinder is 4 out of 5. And remember, I'll never give 5 out of 5 because things can always be improved. Have a great day. Be safe.